So first we're going to pick which edition of the report we want to run. If we look at the report text here, it's showing stage 1 for 2013. So if we pick a different stage from our drop-down here, we'll pick stage 2. And you'll see that our report text actually changes and the measures will match for stage 2. The next thing we want to do is put in our starting date. So we're going to use quarter 4 for last year. Now it's very important when you start this that it actually automatically defaults to the previous year. So you're going to want to make sure that the year is correct, because that's a very common error of getting errors or wrong numbers on our numerator and denominator. So we'll go ahead and pick 10-1 through 12-31. And this physician lookup box is tied to your staff physician lookup, so all of your staff physicians should be available. And then the last thing that we're going to do here is pick which template to run from. Now the important thing to remember about this is that you don't necessarily want to include all of your templates. You only want to include templates that are, we say, billable exams that you're gathering meaningful use data for. So if you have like a post-op template or a tech visit only template, those aren't necessarily ones that you'd be wanting to gather meaningful use data for. Okay, so for ours, we're going to pick our only template in here, which is exam for ophthalmology. And then once we're ready and we're confident that all of our information is correct and our dates and our physician are correct, then we're going to click on Calculate. Now, the time that this report takes to run, depends on a few things: how much information it's looking for, how much or how large the database is. And you can see mine ran very fast because it's a very small amount of information. So you'll see your numerator denominator data on the right side and your percentage result. Okay, so let's talk about how we interpret the text on our meaningful use report. Now what you see here is a screenshot that was taken directly from CMS website. And what's this is showing the core measure 7 out of 17 core measures. And what the arrows are pointing to here are the different types of text that are involved with the measure. So the top one is the objective text, and that's basically the core measure text. So this one is providing the patients with the ability to view online, download, and transmit their health information. So this is the patient portal. But if the core measure has multiple sub-measures, they'll have their own what we call measure text. So we have the core objective text, and then we have the measure text. And our meaningful use report separates these two texts into two different columns. So you'll see we have a yellow and a pink and an orange arrow here. And the text coordinates, now we've got these screenshots side by side, the one from the CMS website and the one from our meaningful use report. The yellow text, or the core measure text, is in the first column, or the description column. And then we see we have two different measures. We have our pink for measure 1, and then our orange here for measure 2. And that's the measure text, and that's in the right column. So if you get confused by seeing two sets of the same text on the left side here, just know it's because they correspond to the same core measure, and then the individual measure text here will be on the right. Okay, so now we've run our meaningful use report, and we're happy with all of our numbers, all of our numerator and denominators, but the last 5 say false. Why do these last 5 say false? Well, these last 5 measures are not asking for numerator or denominator data. They're basically just saying, did you do this? And they're recorded as a true or false. So we find these true or false options in our system properties window. And the way we get to our system properties is by going to File, and then Administration, and then System Properties. Now this will open up a new window that has a bunch of tabs. The one we're looking for is the one that says Meaningful Use. So once we click on meaningful use, we'll see, well, we had 5 falses, and right here we've got 5 boxes that need data filled in. Okay, so the top one is for our security risk analysis. So this security risk analysis, it's your responsibility as far as your clinic goes. It's not something that's completed by Management Plus. It's based on the security of your system and your network. So the date that goes here is supposed to be the date that you completed your security risk analysis, and the date needs to fall in the reporting period. So if you're reporting for quarter 4 of 2014, then it needs to be somewhere in between 10/1 and 12/31. Okay, the second one is generating a list of patients by a specific condition or diagnosis. So this one is completed through custom reporting. So for this one, you want to enter the date that you actually ran the report. Once again, the date needs to fall in the reporting period. And this report, you'll want to print it and save it so you have it for future reference, or if you needed to produce it in an audit. If you need help running this report, if you're not great at custom reporting, you can contact our technical support team and let them know what you need help with, and they can help you. Okay, so the next one is drug-drug and drug interaction checks. These are actually performed by your e-prescribing vendor. So if you're using DrFirst, you know that these are being done automatically for you. Now the date that you want in both of these boxes is the first day of the reporting period. So for quarter 4 of last year would be October 1. So what that's saying is that you had these features implemented from the first day of the reporting period. Okay, now the last one is clinical decision support rules. Now these rules are set up by your EHR specialist. They're rules that correspond to CQM measures. This one also should be the first day of the reporting period, saying that you've had the clinical decision support rules implemented at the start of the reporting period. Now if you have any questions on exactly which rules were set up for you, you can contact your EHR specialist. Most of these we do automatically for you. With rare exceptions, we can change them based on request. Now, stage 1 requires 1 rule, and stage 2 jumps up to requiring 5 clinical decision rules. So once again, the date on this should be the first date of the reporting period. Okay, so some general tips as far as meaningful use reporting goes. If you have questions about any specific numerator or denominator data, you should contact your assigned EHR specialist. They can help look at your forms and say where is it supposed to be gathering the data and why the numbers might be off. You should run reports often, at least once a month. This will definitely help you save you time in the future. See which measures you're not meeting. It could save you lots of time and hours of work later. Things to check if your numbers seem off before you give our support team a call is check the date range of the report. Like I was saying, it goes back defaulted by 1 year. So sometimes we're gathering information for an entire year in 3 months instead of just 3 months. The second one is the physician. You want to make sure that you have a staff physician that has information that can be pulled while you're running your report. And then the third one would be make sure you have the correct template selected. If your numbers seem off, it could be because you have a tech visit template or a post-op template included in your template selection. So that concludes our webinar for today. Once again, if you have any specific questions, you can contact your EHR support representative. Otherwise, you can contact our general support as well if you have any problems. Thanks again for attending, everybody.